FM News Talk 97.1. On demand audio. Allman in the morning. Common Sense Radio.
Good morning, you bunch of drunks.
Forget the Paul Ryan pick. I mean, I think the news of the weekend was the floor exercises featuring the girls with the balls. Telling you, can't get over that. Nothing better than girls with balls at the Olympics. You kidding me? They were. I mean, I don't even know how they did it. They were. Nobody dropped them. Nothing. Have you seen?
Well, they
video?
better not. They're in the Olympics. That's what they're supposed to do.
I know, but my goodness, even the worst ones didn't drop the ball. And they were playing with like 7 of them at one time. It was just incredible. I mean, at that point, I was thinking, now there's an Olympic sport right there. That's the Olympics right there. And yet it was kind of throwaway, you know. The Americans, I don't even think showed up. I don't think that's what they do. I think it's tradition among some of the more Eastern Bloc countries that they. Although Italy, the Italian girls were the best in my mind, but I think it's part of their upbringing that they do that kind of stuff. Like in some of the Eastern Bloc countries. Belarus and Bulgaria and the Russian Federation were all way up there. But, man, I couldn't believe that. All right. On to the Paul Ryan. They're being called the comeback team. They're the comeback team.
Over the years, I have seen and heard from a lot of families, from a lot of those who are running small businesses, and from people who are in need. But what I've heard lately, that's what troubles me the most. There's something different in their voice, in their words. What I hear from them are diminished dreams, lowered expectations, uncertain futures. I hear some people say that...
Is that music too loud, or is that my imagination?
Wow, yeah.
It's like they're drowning him out. Or is that a mix of ours, or is that actually comes... I can't hear a word he's saying.
I know. The other levels are a tad off on that one.
Just a tad. They kind of threw that together, didn't they? I can't hear a word he's saying. Or am I deaf? Keep going with that. Did you cut it off?
This is just the new normal. Higher unemployment, declining incomes.
What?
Is not
Hello?
normal.
Yeah, what? What did you just say? My God. I mean, really, people. Bob Schieffer interviewed Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan on 60 Minutes, and Bob tried a gotcha question with old Paul Ryan.
How many years of tax returns did you turn over to the campaign?
It was a very exhaustive vetting process. It's a confidential vetting process, so there were several years, but I'm going to release the same amount of years that Governor Romney has. But I got to tell you, Bob.
And how many was that?
He's 2. I'm going to be releasing 2, which is what he's...
so kind of the gotcha thing. Bob Schieffer thought he really had the wealthy Janesville, Wisconsin magnate Paul Ryan on the ropes, didn't he? You know what Janesville, Wisconsin is?
This place is a hellhole. We live in a hellhole.
I used to work in Madison, Wisconsin. Janesville, Wisconsin is right there at the border, Illinois and Wisconsin, and it is a hellhole. It's about as bad as Beloit is. Oh my goodness, Rock Island. It's like, oh. That's where they should be. They should be actually testing nuclear weapons in that area, not. But I mean, that place is just and in Janesville, and Paul Ryan is a great pick from there because it's a working class town and it has the GM plants there in Janesville, and they've got the UAW there. The very fact that a Republican was even elected in that area is beyond the realm of comprehension. It just goes to show you some of these union guys, especially the trade unionists, really are actually, when it comes right down to it, common sense conservatives if you can reach them somehow. And so the idea that he came out of that place is, as a Republican, is amazing. But honestly, Paul Ryan's tax returns. I mean, the guy doesn't own any. He's been a congressman. He has nothing. But anyway, they're after him. This was funny. Mitt introduced him at the...
Join me in welcoming the next president of the United States, Paul Ryan.
And he came back on this stage. I don't know. I feel bad. These guys are, sometimes Mitt is just so awkward. Ryan, though, I'm telling you what, I remember playing you this tape back in 2009, and this is when Ryan confronted Obama and Biden when they tried to have their little, let's sit around a square table with everybody and just kind of bull around, and we'll see if we can intimidate people like Paul Ryan. And Ryan was like right down their throats. It was crazy.
Hiding spending does not reduce spending. And so when you take a look at all of this, it just doesn't add up. And so I'll finish with the cost curve. Are we bending the cost curve down, or are we bending the cost curve up? Well, if you look at your own chief actuary at Medicare, we're bending it up.
Yeah, I mean, he was just humiliating Obama at that meeting, which of course, went by the wayside, and media didn't give it a whole lot of coverage because that's what it was. It was one of these, boring looking, panel discussions or whatever. But Obama sat there with his, you should see the tape. We'll put it on the electric stove for you. Obama sat there with his hand over his mouth, It was like at some point he was like hoping he could just stuff it in and suffocate himself to end the pain of listening to Paul Ryan humiliate him. And Biden was there too, and Ryan's quite the scrapper. Now, of course, my prediction that Rubio would be the pick was wrong, and even went against my own viewpoints on the matter, since I talked to Kuhner about the whole thing and should have remembered my conversation with Jeffrey Kuhner, right?
I think the dream ticket is Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan. Why? Ryan is a devout Catholic. Ryan is popular in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a must-win state for Republicans in November. Ryan can help carry that for Mitt Romney. But more than that, he's telegenic, he's articulate, he's loved by the Tea Party, he is brilliant on fiscal, budgetary, economic issues. In fact, nobody has a better grasp than Paul Ryan. And I think in the end, Jamie, if you put Paul Ryan on the ticket, the Republicans are essentially going to throw down the gauntlet. And they're going to say that under Barack Obama, if you continue with these levels of deficits, these levels of debt, this level of spending, we will be Greece in 2016 or
yeah. So he was right on board with that. I can't wait to talk to him this Friday and ask him about his. He wasn't predicting it; he was just suggesting it. So that was a good call on the part of Jeffrey Kuhner. Michelle Obama saying the whole talking about the knucklehead. You heard Obama use the word knucklehead. I don't know. Does anybody still use the word knucklehead?
No.
Michelle Obama uses the word knucklehead.
Bring that old knucklehead friend of yours. The one that's just
I can't even hear. That's like the comeback ad. I can't even hear a word she's saying. But anyway, she says, bring in that knucklehead friend of yours and convince them to vote. All right, and finally, Kate Bush, the end of the opening ceremonies. The song was axed for whatever reason. Why was it axed? I don't understand that. I love Kate Bush. I think this is the only song I actually know that Kate Bush did, right? It was a nice closing ceremony, I have to tell you. Yesterday was an interesting Olympics. It's Common Sense Radio.